The Veganizer Asian Market is back at the Red on Sunday, June 7th. This is Portland's largest plant-based Asian heritage event with over 75 vendors, which include favorites like Mirasada, Jade Rabbit, Nora, Obon Shokudo, and more. In between eating, drinking, and shopping, you can also check out chef demos and lion dancers. Admission ranges from VIP to pay what you can. Go to tinyurl.com/VAM2026 for all the details. That's tinyurl.com/VAM2026. I know Portland takes pride in our DIY culture, but you don't always have to do it yourself. TaskRabbit has been helping Rose City residents for over a decade with everything from furniture assembly to minor home repairs. And their app is super easy to use, so you can quickly get paired with a list of skilled taskers in your neighborhood who've already been rated and reviewed. Plus, there's transparent pricing, so there are no surprises at checkout. Cross those nagging home to-dos off your list, enjoy your weekend, download the TaskRabbit app, or visit taskrabbit.com today.
Today on CityCast Portland, we're talking about Patagonia's fight with a bend drag queen, Portland Public Schools' new AI handbook, and our utility bills going up yet again. I'm executive producer John Notarianni in for Claudia Meza, and joining me today on the show are Willamette Week reporter and author Brianna Wheeler and Oregonian education reporter Julia Silverman. Julia, Brianna, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
I don't think I've ever had the two of you on the show at the same time. You're both familiar faces to me and familiar voices on the show, but what a dream team. Glad to have you both here.
All right. Let's crush it.
Yeah. Well, before we get into the news, usually we ask an opening question so our listeners can get to know our guests a little bit better. But today is the day we are offering some exclusive content just for CityCast Portland neighbors. So today's opening question, we're going to be talking about Salt and Straw potentially going up for sale, but it's just for our members. So if you want to hear that conversation too, you can sign up at membership.citycast.fm, and you'll get all the great members-only content as well as other perks like an ad-free feed of the show, live in-person events, all sorts of stuff. Again, that's membership.citycast.fm. On to the news of the week. Brianna, you are bringing us the story of Patagonia versus Patagonia. What's going on?
I know. First of all, happy Pride. Hi, gay. Yeah. This is so the opposite of rainbow washing that I'm dizzy over it. So this comes to us from Joel Odom at Oregonian. And yes, Patagonia, the drag queen, and Patagonia, the brand, are in this trademark dispute, right? As locals, I think we all kind of have caught wind of this. Patagonia, Bend-based drag queen, just this last weekend offered to drop her trademark application for her name if Patagonia, the retailer, would drop the lawsuit against her. Meanwhile, the company says it also wants to resolve the dispute, but is asking Patty not only to withdraw all trademark applications, but also stop using their logos, stop selling and promoting apparel with other products as Patagonia. What the F? Okay, so in January, California-based Patagonia sues Entrepreneur Enterprises, that's Patagonia's production company, and they're only seeking $1 in damages, which is so...
petty.
So incredibly petty, right? Because it's still going to cost Patty a lot of money to take this to court. It's so asinine. Okay. Patty, also known as Wynn Wiley, said in a video on Instagram, super recently, just this weekend, that her trademark filing had passed the first step of the application process, right? That's a good sign. And an examining attorney found it not confusingly similar to Patagonia's mark. Still, because she is the bigger person, she said that she would withdraw the trademark application in the interest of a resolution. This is her quote. Patagonia, from the beginning, all I wanted is peace. And I don't think you're entitled to what I'm about to do. And you certainly don't deserve it for your extremely disappointing behavior. I am bricked up reading this. I was so excited hearing her say it. That's not in the quote. That's just me talking. Quote, you're saying the issue is the trademark. I'm willing to drop the trademark. And if I do that, you drop the lawsuit.
So badass.
If this is true that it's all about the trademark, then you'll drop the lawsuit. But if you don't, then we know what this is about. Patagonia is trying to erase my identity and my community's activism. I'm giving you what you're asking for. It's your move, Patagonia.
Totally just calling their bluff.
I love this for her. Like,
So
I love
smart.
how she's really rising to the occasion. Also, okay, yeah, it's super petty, but like, let's unpack this a little. Patagonia, it was founded by one dude who like changed the face of rock climbing. Just one incredibly motivated rock climbing outdoor enthusiast. And when the company changed hands, he went to retire. He said, I'm going to walk away from this like $1 billion valuation. I don't want to sell my company. I don't want that. What I want to do is give Patagonia to a nonprofit so that all of Patagonia's earnings go back into conserving the environment, right? This man put his whole life into this company, is very much aligned with Patty's MO as well, probably more so than their current CEO. Yvonne Chouinard is what his name is. And he's still alive. He's 80. He lives in Maine. I would love to get his input on this. I would love to know what he thinks, because it just feels like she's more aligned with his vision of Patagonia than what is happening now. Also, Patagonia is not a word that they just made up. It's a region. What are they thinking? It's so, oh my gosh.
Yeah. To like what Patty G Patagonia stands for. I mean, like they have done so much amazing work through their activism, trying to champion outdoor spaces as being BIPOC and queer spaces in a way that very few people have, of sort of like bringing that message into rural communities and raising millions of dollars along the way.
Thank you.
I mean, to me, it seems like kind of a no-brainer. Like, dude, Patagonia, the company, like team up here, This is the best brand ambassador you could possibly imagine. And Patty G has partnered with North Face, competitor of Patagonia in 2022. Patagonia was the subject of an REI documentary. She's been out there like working with all of these competing brands. It's like, just bring Patty G into the fold. It seems so easy.
So easy. So straightforward. She's so aligned.
What do you think, Julia? What's your take on Patty G?
My first reaction was also, I simply do not understand how anybody can trademark the word Patagonia, because as Brianna says, this is a region. Did anybody ask the people who actually live there how they feel about any of this? I mean, it's completely antithetical to the spirit of that part of the world and to the concept that the outdoors is for everybody, really, which is true. I mean, the idea that you would be like, nope, just for us.
Yeah.
I don't care for it. Doesn't work for me.
To sort of brush up against the wonkiness of the trademark dispute, something that I found interesting is that, I am not an expert on trademark law by any stretch, but like one of the sticking points here is around parody, right? And around sort of whether we are creating brand confusion of like Patty G, the drag performer and activist, versus Patagonia, the company. And there was this quote from Patty G, quote, "Drag is built on parody, puns, and jokes." Which is, to me, also such an interesting question of like, this is sort of not just about like Patty G's brand. This is sort of about the culture and the community and the history that they represent as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm in Patty G's corner. What about you guys?
Yeah, me too.
For sure.
All right, you guys, let's take a quick break. And then when we come back, let's talk about the computers that are coming to destroy us all.
Did you know it's now legal to pass people on bicycles in a no passing zone in Oregon, as long as they're riding at less than half the speed limit? If you're thinking of passing a bicyclist, ODOT recommends to first just be patient, wait for a good moment to pass, and then once it's clear, to move fully into the next lane and pass at 5 miles below the speed limit. And lastly, wait until you see the bicyclist in your rearview mirror before you move back over. When you take these steps to avoid crowding people on bikes, it keeps everyone safe on Oregon's roads. A message from ODOT.
All right, Julia, the way I set up that conversation before the break, am I being too harsh? Am I being too flippant about AI right now?
I mean, look, John, you came in hot, but you're not wrong. Like, will any of our jobs exist in 5 years? Who can say? We do not know. The computers are coming for all of us.
Yeah, well, We are blessed to be looking at your own reporting today about AI and PPS. What's going on?
Yeah, this has been a really fascinating story, and I feel like we're going to see a lot more of this. So you guys, everybody knows that Governor Kotek in the beginning of the school year made a lot of noise about banning cell phones in schools. And I feel like there was a big victory lap, right? Like all the grown-ups were like, huzzah, we've done it. We've solved this problem. Not so much. It turns out that like the noise about cell phone use in school was really drowning out a rising concern about educational technology, or you can shorthand it ed tech, like the cool kids do. And this is really, about like the Chromebooks that are issued or iPads that are issued to students and how much time they spend using them in schools, right? So there's like a national movement that is really ramping up in Portland to reduce the amount of time that kids are spending on screens in schools, because it's a lot. Like I've heard stories about like a parent at a local school district told me about her kid's teacher doesn't read to them so much anymore. They'll sort of like turn on the YouTube video of like somebody reading a book to the kids.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. That is so dystopian.
We don't love that. So, or at least this mom didn't. That was the royal we. I, as the reporter, obviously have no opinion whatsoever. But into the breach of all this comes the question of AI and what is its place in the classroom. And Portland Public Schools has staked out what I think is a pretty bold stance on this, which is, hey, look, let's be realistic. AI is already here. Your kids are using it. Whether or not you want to admit it, they are. And there are ways in which, number one, the district says there are ways in which this can make a teacher's life easier by automating some tasks. And number two, it's our responsibility as a district to produce graduates who are AI literate, because like I said, who knows what the future workforce is going to demand. But, if we can say anything at all, it's that it probably will demand some knowledge of artificial intelligence. Now, they produced a handbook about this, which painted a pretty rosy and optimistic vision of how much they wanted to integrate AI into the classroom. And I got to say, it drove a lot of pushback. Particularly loud on this, I think, are parents of elementary schoolers who are very clearly being like, nope, no thank you. I don't want that anywhere near my kid's classroom. You're going in the wrong direction. You want less of this rather than more. I don't want my kids' privacy potentially being breached. I don't want them chatting with a chatbot instead of their teacher, et cetera, and so forth. The district did a survey where they asked people like, hey, what is your opinions of AI? And, as you might guess, people were like, thumbs down, don't love this. And that was kind of universal across educators, students, and parents. So one of my big questions, and I think a reporting thread that I'll be following in the next year is, and not just to Portland Public School, like how do local school districts balance that and find the right place where they are turning out AI literate graduates, but not outsourcing education to artificial intelligence?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like every time we talk about Portland Public Schools, I talk about an impossible problem. This feels like an impossible problem because in a lot of ways, like the cow is out of the barn. Like AI is out there. Like we all know that it exists in our daily lives, but like, good God, like so much, especially a fundamental education, is based on sort of having that first person experience and about like working through problems yourself and like learning how things work and learning how to think critically. And I just can't believe that there are AI models that exist in education that sort of maintain that process that we all grew up with, right?
Right. And also, like, it's not free. That's the other thing. Education technology comes with a price. And so, like, one of the investments that Portland Public Schools has made that's attracted a lot of attention this year is in this AI startup founded by Colin Kaepernick, and it's called Lumi Story AI. And the idea is that it is going to assist kids in writing and publishing their own, like, digital graphic novels, basically. Okay. And this was announced with a lot of pomp and circumstance, Kaepernick himself came to the sort of like pep rally assembly that PPS Superintendent Kimberly Armstrong held at the beginning of the year, where she's talking to a whole bunch of teachers and getting everybody kind of hyped up for the year to come. But it hasn't landed that well. I got an email the other day from a mom who was upset that representatives for the company were at Beaumont Middle School handing out branded merch to kids during the school day. And it was like, what are we doing here? Like, why is this a part of the school day? And then also, I think if you parse the survey results carefully, you do see that people want their kids to learn about how to be AI literate and how to navigate it. So PPS, like many other school districts, is going to have to walk a really careful line.
Yeah. Brianna, I know you have no opinions on education. You've always been very silent when PPS has come up on this show. What do you think?
I'm like surprised that my headphones didn't blow off of my head because of the steam shooting out of my ears about all of this. So, oh gosh, my son, who's nonverbal and autistic, so he uses a TalkPad, like he uses a device. And there's like one high school, Bridges Junior High School, that's specifically for kids on the spectrum. And we're like, well, he has this device that it's his TalkPad and, XYZ. And they were very like, well, devices, like somehow that was getting lumped into this device conversation. And I was like, oh, wow, we have lost the plot completely. Yeah. Furthermore, in the classroom, before Rainier was diagnosed, it was just a thing to stick him in front of a computer because the teacher didn't know what to do with him. And when I thought about that at length, I thought, how many other children are getting that exact same treatment? So to hear Julia describe her reporting, it's making me, I want to melt into the ground. I want to run away into the woods. Who's with me?
I'm sorry that your son had that experience, Brianna. I do think you raise a really great point. Like adaptive and assistive technology can be an incredibly powerful tool for students like your son. I think that's a great thing. If that allows him to communicate and to be learning and to be more of a part of the classroom, that's wonderful. Outsourcing, your report to AI and having that be sanctioned, not that anybody has suggested that, but, that's less wonderful. So I think there's going to be a lot more on this. Stay tuned.
Yeah. I mean, and like as an adult with what I imagine to be of like reasonable critical thinking skills, not extraordinary, but like, okay, like there is such a temptation for it to be like, we'll do everything with AI. There's just this slippery slope inherent to the tech where it's like everything can be AI done. And like, I just am wondering, Julia, are you seeing any best practices around the country of how this implementation might go? Like, does anyone at this point know what a like reasonable AI policy is for like an elementary school, or is it still just a big question mark?
That's a great question. We are certainly in the Wild West, but I would point to the Tigard-Tualatin School District, which has been working on this for a long time and has done a really nice job of sort of centering like, hey, let's try to learn about how to evaluate these tools before we actually begin using these tools.
Fabulous.
That seems simple and smart and logical and very practical. Yeah. Well, Julia, thank you so much for your reporting on this. We're going to keep following it. So next time you have more, let us know and we'd love to have you back on.
Great.
All right. Let's take a quick break. And then when we come back, more news of the week. All right, guys. Once again, I am tasked with bringing you some bad news. The bills are going up. All of the bills are going up. Things are getting more expensive. We've got a bit of an Oregonian super show going on today because this also comes from your newspaper, Julia. This is from your colleague, Shane Dixon Kavanaugh. We just found out this week that Portland households are going to see water and sewer bills jumping by 6.36% beginning on July 1st. They went up last year a good amount. They're going up again. And this is sort of a watershed moment, no pun intended, because it does mean that the average household is now going to be spending $2,000 or more per year on these bills, with projections showing that like as these rate increases continue to come through, the average bill could reach over $2,600 a year annually by 2030. There are a lot of decent reasons why these bills are going up. Like so much in our city, our water and sewer infrastructure is old as heck and needs maintenance and repairs. Like got to fix the pipes. Pipes cost money. There's also new environmental compliance requirements, which is a good thing. And then just some like really major projects. We talked about it on the show, but that Bull Run water filtration plant is really, really expensive. It's now looking to be $2.5 billion is the estimated cost. It's the most expensive municipal project in Portland history. So the bill's got to go up to pay for all of this. But it is even more of a gut punch because when the city council approved these increases, at the same meeting, they approved increases to the cost of street parking and garbage and recycling rates and the arts tax. And we have a new street utility fee coming in 2027, which is going to make these sort of utility bills even higher. So we do got to pay for this stuff, but like, holy moly, how are you guys feeling about these rate hikes?
Death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
Right?
Completely.
Yeah.
The mountain is right there. We can just go and live in abundance on the mountain.
I mean, you know, my framework is often like I basically just think about public schools all the time. But, you know, so I'm very steeped in the statistic that like 85% of the any school district's budget, and I think this is relatively common for city services or public governments, is labor, right? And labor costs are going up. And particularly like if you look at the public employee retirement system, those costs are going up. So, I mean, I think what I hear Portlanders say is, hey, we're happy to pay our fair share. We just want to see tangible evidence of what we're paying for.
Yeah.
We want to see things get better. And that is tough to do because intangibly, a lot of the money for this rate hike will go back to covering labor costs, right? As opposed to like all of a sudden there will be, I don't know, like no more potholes in the streets and, you know, water that tastes like champagne. Sorry, that last bit was random, but you know what I mean.
The $1 trillion water bill that pumps champagne through all the city pipes. That's
exactly.
That policy is still forthcoming. Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't think that anybody on this podcast or most Portlanders would say, oh, I don't want folks who do these jobs for the city to make a living wage and to be able to live comfortably. But I think at this stage of this late capitalism stage in Portland, you might also have some people say, are we sure that we are making the right decisions about where to spend and what we're spending on?
Yeah. It's also really hard when a lot of this money is going towards sort of preventative projects, you know? I think that if we had public water that was completely full of cryptosporidium, you know, we would feel really different about it. But like, since a big part of this is to filter water to ward off like potential calamities that will never see the light, I mean, that's a great thing, but it's just so much harder to sort of rally around. Yeah. And like, it's interesting that you bring up the potholes, like both with our streets and with our sort of water and sewer infrastructure. The problem is that we haven't done a great job of maintaining it over the last 50 years. So we're sort of playing catch up and like, I'm not of the mindset that we should just let it crumble. And like, maybe Brianna is. It sounds like Brianna's like, fuck it, let's go to the woods. You know, I want our pipes and our streets to work. But like, I don't blame anybody for being like, fuck, this is a really hard hit. And like, I think we have heard from certain surveys that people are starting to really feel the crunch of all these taxes that are coming down the pipe.
They're leaving.
Yeah. And I mean, listen, like, you know, the city of Portland is not responsible for gas prices, right? But like, that sure doesn't help. Like, your timing's not great when we're all paying whatever it is, $6.50 at the pump. A shout out to Shane's reporting. He notes that the city does offer utility assistance programs to both medium and low income residents that can shave up to 80% off your monthly water and sewer bills. About 10,000, almost 11,000 households are currently enrolled in that. So if that's you and you want to find out more about it, you can read Shane's story and follow the link he provided.
Yes.
Maybe you guys can put it in the show notes or something.
Planning to put it in the show notes. I actually looked into it a bit. It's interesting. There's a couple programs. So I think the one that you're mentioning is actually, speaking of AI, it is algorithmically determined from like a bunch of public documents of like census and et cetera. And in many cases, it is automatically applied. You don't even need to apply for it. There are just people that are getting that discount on their water bill, which is very cool. But then there are a number of other need-based programs that you can apply to through the county. Just calling 211 if you just want something quick, that is the quickest way to sort of get connected with these resources. But like whether it's water bills or energy or electric bills, there's a lot of programs, and we will definitely have links to all of those in the show notes of this episode.
I also just want to note that there's an interesting little political nugget in here in terms of the vote breakdown. Shane reported that 3 counselors opposed the sewer and stormwater rate increase: Tiffany Koyama Lane, Dan Ryan, and Eric Zimmerman. I'm a casual observer of the Portland City Council, and it is my impression that those 3 people don't often vote together. So I don't know what kind of political conclusion to draw about that. Maybe you guys do, but like an interesting little nugget there for the city council heads.
Yeah. Interesting coalition there. They voted against both the sewer and stormwater increase and the water rate increase, which were voted on separately. They are technically 2 rate increases, but we're sort of talking of them as one because that's how it gets to your bill.
Right.
Interestingly, Councilor Angelita Murillo joined them on the water rate increase as well. And I will note that both Murillo and Koyama Lane are up for re-election in November. That's my district. And I think Eric Zimmerman is too. I think his district is also up for re-election. So there could have been an eye on that. Who knows? Starting to see a little bit of keeping an eye on the politics of campaign season. Oh my gosh, we will be talking about that so much more over the coming months. Well, guys, thank you so much for chopping through the news of the week with me. It's been really fun having you both on. And thanks so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having me.
That's all for us today here on CityCast Portland. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend, rate, or leave us a review? And don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast neighbor, hearing that great opening segment that you didn't hear, but we had so much fun in. Oh my God, you guys, that was so great. Just visit membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with much more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's, or I'll be drinking a glass of water to get my money's worth. Get my money's worth out of those municipal taxes.